Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump both finished their very busy weeks in key battleground states. Clinton spent her Friday rallying supporters in Florida, while Trump spent his day in Michigan. The campaign events came after some very controversial late-night comments from the Republican nominee. With me now from Washington is CBS News senior political editor Steve Chaggaris, and here on set is CBSN political contributor and Republican strategist Leslie Sanchez. Good to see you. All right, Leslie, let me start with you. Trump has injected, let's start from the beginning. The late-night Twitter firestorm from 3 o'clock in the morning against Hillary Clinton, against the former Miss Universe Alicia Machado, who he's publicly shamed for gaining weight. And in one tweet, I want to put that up, he called Machado disgusting and encouraged his nearly 12 million followers to look up an alleged sex tape of Machado. We've been looking for the sex tape. We have, in the course of pursuing this story, I should say.
Just what you want the National Press Corps to do.
In the course of pursuing the story, we have been looking into his allegations that she may have been in a sex tape, and we haven't found one. What do you make of this?
Well, there's two parts to make of this. One, it's irrational, and it's frustrating to campaign operatives. Talking to folks, including Trump surrogates that I spoke with, they're definitely frustrated. This is not what you want to see your candidate doing right before preparing what he should be doing for the next election, getting excited about these rallies, and sticking to some of the points, which is the contrast with Hillary Clinton. What is interesting about this story, Spanish media and folks who followed her career for a very long time remember this, and it was an embarrassment for her overall to gain all that weight, because a lot of people saw her as an athlete, as somebody who really represented their country, Miss Universe. So not that we approve in any way of what he's called her, but she has been tabloid fodder for a long time. What you don't want to see is the National Press Corps out looking for that kind of material days before the election. And
Steve, I mean, regardless of perhaps how folks in Venezuela or in other Latin American countries felt, the fact that you have a man fat shaming somebody on national television, forcing her to work out for the cameras, and then saying some of the things that he said about her, Miss Piggy, and more importantly, not letting it go 39 days out before the election.
Yeah, I mean, this plays right into what the Clinton campaign wanted to do, which was basically get him off message. I mean, if you look at what happened over the last few weeks, he was gaining in the polls. He was on offense. Hillary Clinton was on defense. She was off the road dealing with pneumonia, and he was gaining. And this was an opportunity for them to set a trap for him, and he took it. And so now what he's done is, over the last week, regardless of what he's saying, he is not talking about Hillary Clinton in a negative way. He's talking about somebody else who has nothing to do with this election. Insults are flying. It plays into several themes here. One, it plays into the temperament question about Trump. You look at the things that he said about this woman, and people ask the question about temperament. You look at what kind of voters might be reacting to this. Female voters, Hispanic voters. It's all playing into a lot of things that Donald Trump is having trouble with. And this is the kind of thing that got him into trouble in early August when his poll numbers tanked. And so from a political standpoint, this is just the kind of distraction that really hurt him early last month, and he had really sort of avoided throughout most of September. And now he's back on this sort of track where he's distracted, and the Clinton people are ecstatic. I don't think I've seen Hillary Clinton smile so much as I have this week after the debate.
And yet, Leslie, there's a sense that his supporters don't care that he said some of those things. In fact, many of them perhaps think that he's right. And yet, he's not fighting for those folks. He's got them in his corner. He's fighting for those folks in the middle who haven't decided yet whether they should vote for him or for Hillary Clinton. When he talks about TPP, when he talks about NAFTA, when he talks about being tough on ISIS, people respond to that. Instead, he's talking about this, and that is not a way to bring that middle group of voters to his side.
One thing to think about is he really talking to the people in the middle? Because I'm starting to believe he really isn't.
Really?
He is really starting to mobilize and excite, because we're starting early voting already in 11 states. He's mobilizing and exciting a lot of his base. They're out there talking about it. They like the tabloid nature of this. They like the entertainment factor, and they're willing to give him a pass on many of these things. And I think there definitely is fault on both sides of the aisle, because Hillary Clinton is using this woman as a pawn, and she was touting her book, meaning
Alicia.
Yeah, exactly, was touting her book in July of 2015 that she has a new book, a scandalous book coming out about Donald Trump. And I think Hillary Clinton seized upon that. Her campaign was very shrewd and smart to do it. But there's a lot of political posturing going on both sides. He's taken the bait. His comments were atrocious, but instead of focusing, he may really be doing one of these things where he's riling people up, getting them excited, and doing a contrast again against Hillary Clinton.
Is that a winning strategy, Steve, to shore up that base? We know that he's bringing a lot more people to the Republican cause, but is that a winning strategy, or should he be really trying to focus on some of those moderates and those voters who are undecided?
Well, I mean, if there's an argument that there's not a lot in the middle there to be fighting for, then it could be. I mean, the idea is turnout, right? Who's going to be able to turn out their voters more this year? Who has more enthusiasm? And we've seen in polls leading up to this week that the enthusiasm was on his side. So it's about getting those people out in big numbers and really overwhelming the other side. Now, Hillary Clinton has been out there, and her surrogates, including President Obama, Michelle Obama, Bill Clinton, Vice President Biden, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, some pretty big names out there to really drum up turnout on her side of things. And that's really going to be the focus on the Clinton side of things, about really getting her voters out there. So the question is this kind of thing for Trump going to overwhelm Hillary Clinton? My question on that is, I think what would be more effective for him would be to be going after her and not talking about these kinds of things, these personal tit for tats that he has with these sort of average people, these people who are not running for office. He should be training his sights on Hillary Clinton. At least that's what his surrogates think. That's what people who are supporting Trump think. I think that's what they saw over the last few weeks, and now this week it's sort of back off the rails, and there's definitely some frustration on the Republican side because of the way he's been acting this week. Definitely.
I mean, if Trump had successfully made Alicia a best-selling author when her new book comes out, let's just put it that. That's the only thing we can all agree on, because the sensationalism of this is selling, and it will continue to sell. But is it effectively closing the women gap? Absolutely not. Are Latinas running for the hills with respect to closing some of them that were on the fence? Yes. But does that have an overall impact? We don't know yet. And I think that's what we have to be listening for.
Steve,
and the other thing, too, on that, by the way, is these kinds of distractions may actually energize people on behalf of Hillary Clinton. It may energize women voters. It may energize Hispanic voters. And so that's what he has to watch out, too, with these kinds of distractions.
Steve Chaggaris and Leslie Sanchez, thank you both. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Vlad.